So we are discussing about LR functions, right? LR functions, what we discussed as of now. Anyone can repeat?
LR abort, LR exit,
Okay.
and
LR start transaction.
string, save string,
And
LR param random.
Yeah, param
And
random.
LR starts transaction and LR end transaction. And one more thing, we miss LR think time.
Yeah.
LR think time. And apart from this, LR abort, LR exit, LR param random, and same to LR save string, LR eval string also we discussed, right?
Right.
LR save string. And LR eval string. So as of now, we discussed this, right? First thing, going to the LR start transaction and transaction means to measure the response time, we can use for the LR start and end transaction. LR think time nothing but is a delay between the action to action. And LR abort means it will particular script, it is abort means particular transaction level. So we can use for the LR abort. It will exit for the iteration means we need to use for the LR exit. LR parameter random means we need to generate the random value. For example, we have the departure and array will be there. So I want pick for the randomly values. So at that time I can use for the LR parameter random value. And going to the LR save string. Already C variable will be there. We need to save that variable to the our load runner variable. Then we can use for the LR save string. LR eval string means we need to read the value. Already, for example, if it is some flight booking will be there. So for that, we need to read the value like user section will be there. So you need to read the value means you can give for the LR eval string and open curly brace, close curly brace. You need to give for the user section. Then what will happen? User section, what is the value? It will be there. It will read that value. That is the point of view we can use for the LR eval string. Okay. And going to the next one will be LR save date and time also will be there. So LR save date and time. So whatever may be, so just to your understanding purpose, I'm writing for LR save date and time. LR underscore save underscore date time. So we need to capture particular date and time means we need to use for this function LR save date and time, and we need to give for the syntax like for example, if we want to capture, already we know, right, date and time parameterization how we written. So same thing will be there. Percentage M means it is a like it is a month, and percentage D means it is a date, and percentage Y means is a year. And after space you need to give for the, this time we have the date and time also will be there. So that is why you need to give for the H means hours, and after that hours what will be there, minutes. So percentage M. And so second means you need to give for the second also. So and comma, and we need to write for the function name date now, means for a current date means we want current date means you need to give for the date underscore now. You can give for the date underscore now, comma, and we need to give for the in double colon current date. If you give one means current date means you can give for the current date time, current date time, and double colon already there. So you can you can close this one. So we'll observe maybe. So if you want to capture for the date and time, current date means you need to give for the like this LR save date and time, percentage M nothing but months, percentage D nothing but days, Y means years, and H means hours, minutes. And if you want second means you can give second. And I'm giving for the date now. Means for example, I want for the date today. That is why I'm giving for the date now. If you want date 1 + 1 means what will happen? Future date will happen. So if you give for the current date, so like this we need to give for the syntax. Okay. And one more thing, we need to connect the DB nothing but database. You need to give for the LR underscore DB connect. You are connected DB and you need to disconnect means you need to give for the LR underscore DB connect. If you want to disconnect means what we can give? LR underscore DB underscore disconnect. So these all will be, we cannot use for the real time point of view, but interview point of view, they will ask for the how many LR functions you know. So do you know how many you know? You can tell. For example, you know for the LR start transaction, end transaction, you can tell for the LR start transaction, end transaction. Maybe you will ask question. Then what is the LR start transaction time? To measure the response time, we need to use for the LR start and end transactions. So in that LR start and transactions, we have the some LR auto will be there, right? You can observe here. LR auto will be there. For this auto, we have the LR pass fail conditions will be there. In that LR underscore auto will be there. In the auto, what is that auto means? If it is LR pass or fail condition will be there in that point of view. So you need to explain that also. Okay. So LRDB connect DB disconnect means, for example, we want to connect the DB. So at that time you need to give for the syntax LR underscore DB connect, and you need to give for the DB name. DB name like some X comma DB username and password. You need to give that one, and you need to disconnect means you need to give for the same details LR which DB you are connecting, and username and password you can disconnect. Okay. So you know for any some functions, then it is enough for you. And one more thing is a LR output message. This also we seen, right? LR output message. Everyone see? Hello. LR output message. Which purpose we can use? Anyone?
Checkpoint validation.
Sorry.
Passed.
Yes, send message to the application means we need to display for the message, particular message. So I want for the checkpoint condition, pass or fail condition, I mentioned for the LR output message. So to display for the message in output window, we need to use for the LR output message. And one more LR error message will be there. LR underscore error underscore message. So LR underscore error message, which purpose means send an error message, which location details to the output window, logs files and other test to report summary means we need to give for the LR error message. So which purpose we can use? Sends an error message with location details to the output window, log files and other test point of view report summary we need to give for the LR error message. LR continuous error also will be there. So means if you want to, it is failing somewhere, but you want to continue for the script, then at that time you need to write for the LR continuous error. Okay, these are the LR functions. Going to the web function. Anyone know for the any web functions as of now? In what we discussed, right, in our classes or anywhere? How many functions you know for the web functions?
Web URL, sir.
Okay.
Web find.
submit.
WebReg Separam.
WebReg find, WebReg Separam, and
WebReg Separam X.
yes,
Yeah,
that
WebReg
was-
save column X, the WebReg save that is JSON there, I think so. The WebReg JSON.
yeah,
Web
yeah,
image check.
yeah, that is also okay. Then web submit data.
Yeah.
So for this all will be web functions. So maximum they will not ask for the what are the web functions. They will ask for the do you know any web functions. So you can tell for the what you know and what is what you know. Then only you can tell that. For example, you told as a web submit data or otherwise WebReg Separam. For a WebReg Separam, you will ask for the which purpose we can use for the WebReg Separam to handle the dynamic value. And to validate the correct response purpose, we can use for the WebReg Separam. And what are the arguments means you need to tell for the LB, RB, save length, save offset, ordinal, these all things. Okay. And going to the web URL. So you are clicking for any application or any button or you are launching application at that time, it will generate as a web URL function. You are entering some data in the form of item data. So at that time it will come from the web submit data. So important question is what is difference between the web submit data and web submit form also it will ask. So in web submit data means it is an unconditional contextless request which will submit the data in the form of item data. So what are the data we are entering through keyword, those data will be displayed in the web submit data. That is the unconditional contextless request. So going to the web submit form, it submit the form and it a context based request. Maybe it submit in the form of item data, and context based means request will be depend on the previous response. Means this request will be there. This request will be depends on the previous request. Which one? Web submit form. But web submit data means what is that? In this, what are the data we are submitting in the form of item data, that will be web submit data. If anyone asks for the difference between web submit data and web submit form means, the simple answer will be it is a unconditional context less request and it is a context based request. Okay. And web URL, you know, right? One more, I think you guys know, but you forget it. Website max HTML param length function. Which
Yeah,
purpose we
that
can
is
use?
That is for maximum parameter. That is to use the maximum parameters.
Yes.
999 or
Yes.
49.
Yes. Maybe it is more than 256 byte character, then we can use for the website max HTML param length function. Okay. And what is the difference between WebReg Separam EX and WebReg Separam? Anyone?
So WebReg param is before we used to use that one. After the version has been changed, now
No,
we are
we are
using.
not. I'm not asked for the WebReg find web find. I asked for the WebReg Separam and WebReg Separam EX.
Both are same. Captures the dynamic value. WebReg
Yes,
save
capture
param
the
and
dynamic value only. but you can go into the function point of view. We need to write for
It has
the
different-
WebBreak say param is equal to some parameter name we need to pass.
Yeah.
But in WebBreak say param, you are directly passing the parameter name.
Hmm.
And as same to one more different will be WebBreak say param, you can write ordinal is equal to 1, it will do. But in WebBreak say param, you can observe, you can give for the ordinal equal to, you can give for the full name. Like ordinal equal to you need to give. And WebBreak say param, we need to give for the so one more thing will be in search is equal to, we can write a header body in the WebBreak say param, but in WebBreak say param ex we need to write for the now scope is equal to body or header we need to write. And request URL we need to give 1 minute. So now we are in WebBreak say param and WebBreak say param ex, right? So this is the differences between these two. And going to the already WebBreak find we know, right? Just text verification point of view we need to use for the WebBreak find to validate the correct response means we can use for the WebBreak find. And web image check also will be there. We know, right? Web image check to validate for the response purpose we can use for the web underscore image underscore check. And web submit data and web submit form is completed. And one more is web underscore get underscore in property, web get in property. Using this function you can verify the response whether is proper or not based on the HTTP order download size. So means particular to validate the response point of view also we need to use for this function web get in property. Using this function you need to using for the HTTP status codes. You know, you can write for the like the in HTTP web get in property HTTP info return code nothing but HTTP code 200 or 300 or 400 500. So it will return the value. So if it is successful means we can get for the 200 response. If it is maybe redirecting or anything means you can get for 300. So maybe it is an invalid request you can get for the 400. Maybe authorization 401. So based on that it will return the value using for the web get in property. And we have the website user will be there and website certificate, website socket option will be there, web convert param will be there. Web convert param, when we use convert function we know, right? In the WebBreak say param function, convert is equal to HTML to URL, URL to HTML, right? Yes, same to we have to write for the web convert param also will be there, which will convert an string HTML to URL and URL to plain, vice versa. We can use for the web convert param. How to write the syntax means web convert param. For example, you want HTML2 means source encoding will be HTML, target will be URL. You need to write for the HTML and source encoding is equal to HTML and target encoding is equal to URL, comma last. So if everything will be there in our material, please read out this all functions because interview point of everyone will ask. So first thing will be what you know in which are the value, which are the LR functions, web functions we are using in our script. You need to read those one. After that, you need to check with some other also. Web custom request will be there. So when we can use for the web custom request. See, some Java application will be there. For that Java application, some pages are dynamically changing. So keep on changing for the dynamic pages. Maybe today will be some different will be there that page and tomorrow will be different. Maybe after 2-3 hours also it will different. So at that time we can use for the web custom request function. Using that function we need to capture the that particular value it is changing also, no problem. When we can get for the web custom request means you can go to the recording options. In the recording options, you can see for the recording options, you can select as a URL base, then you can see the web custom use web custom request. Click on OK. Then you can record for this base. Then you can get for the web custom request functions, and web URLs also you'll get, but web custom also it is generated. So if you try means now you have the one more challenging for scripting point. What is difference between HTML based recording and URL based recording? HTML based recording means we need to record the only user actions, but URL mode means what will record means you will record the user actions along with the server side resource also you'll get. So at that time what will happen means HTML based means at that time you can get for the less number of dynamic values. When you record in URL based, so you will get for the use number of dynamic values. So to maintain the HTML script is very easy. To maintain the URL script is a very difficult to do it. So this is the difference between HTML based and URL based. HTML based you will get for the web submit data and you have web URL function. When you record the URL based, you can generate the web custom request. Okay, so you guys can try with the different URLs, and you can try with the select as a URL based. You can try with the record the URL method also. Then you need to compare for these two. What will happen? Okay.
Okay.
So these are the our web functions and LR functions. So each and everyone can go through the document and each and everyone what is what, which function, which purpose it is using, and syntax also it will be there. Please check the syntax, and you need to practice what are the we are using in script maximum. You can prepare those things, because if anyone asks means you can tell immediately any 5 web functions or any 5 LR functions, any 5, no problem. Okay, for example, LR functions, LR start transaction, end transaction, LR exit, LR abort, LR DB connect, LR DB disconnect, LR eval string, LR save string. So like this you can tell web functions, web submit data, web submit form, web URL, web break save param EX, web break find, and website match HTML parameter function. So what you know, you can tell those functions. So everyone can go to that reference book in our material, and everyone can read, and tomorrow everyone can do for the web2 script only. I want for the manual correlation only. One value also no need to do for the auto correlation, and do prepare for all. Okay, correlation, parameterization, checkpoints, and start and transaction also give the proper. Okay, I think everyone is fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone have any doubts apart from this? I think everyone good, right?